Enough is enough. President Tinubu speaks tough on killings, writes Senate, and confirmation of service chiefs.
I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate and service chiefs of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Zero emission underway. Federal government unveils a new 100% made in Nigeria electric vehicle.
This is very vital, especially now where solutions are required.
Plus, executive legislature relations. Vice President Shettima meets House of Reps Speaker.
Pay homage to our VP, to see them, get to know them, so that we can prepare for the challenges ahead.
Hello and welcome to the Network News. I'm Olajide Bello, and joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komiakiri. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website www.nta.ng/live or on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now, starting with border matters, the Nigeria Customs Service says all Nigerian borders will soon be reopened at the completion of administrative work. Acting Comptroller General of the service stated this while briefing State House correspondent after an audience with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
After several media reports on issues of border closure across the country, the federal government is re-strategizing to ensure all Nigerian borders are reopened.
There are ongoing processes to review this situation against the objective of the border closure itself. And the processes are not yet completed. And of course, when the borders are reopened, it's not going to be subject of rumor in any way. I can also tell you that part of my discussions with Mr. President is to actively engage customs administrations across our borders, particularly the strategic ones that we must work and collaborate with for us to achieve common objectives of border security and regional integration.
On the issue of smuggling of petroleum products across Nigerian borders, the customs boss says measures have been put in place to address the crime.
It might take some time before the issue of smuggling of fuel across the border we completely dissipate. So in some border areas, we had reports of seizures of fuel, and that is what we had. So it was the assumption generally that because of the fuel is now sold at 500 naira per liter, it will be a disincentive for smuggling. But contrary to that, we have seen that they are still smuggling it across the borders. The rates at which this is being smuggled has reduced considerably. And it is our hope that by the time we mix some of these other policies that government is working on, it will completely eliminate the problems of smuggling of fuel across our borders.
Technological solutions are also expected to be deployed in ensuring the safety and security of all land borders across the country. From the State House, Abrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
And away from border matters now, President Bola Tinubu communicates to the Senate seeking the confirmation of the appointments of the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read the letter at the commencement of plenary this Tuesday.
The President of the Senate said the presidential communication is in line with the provisions of the Armed Forces Act.
I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the four nominees listed below as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Senate is invited to note the current security situation of our country, which requires concerted efforts of both the legislature and the executive to ensure a well-protected nation.
This letter is the first from President Tinubu to the 10th Senate, inaugurated in June 2023. The President of the Senate also brought to the notice of members the composition of some special committees, including the Committee on Appropriation, as the Senate anytime from now is likely to receive supplementary budget from the Executive for approval. Senate adopted 2 motions urging authorities to address the deplorable state of some roads in the southeast and northwest.
Despite spending in excess of 15 billion since inception on these critical roads, the Umuahia-Mudike-Kote-Ekpeni road had only attained 6% completion as of April 2023, while the Aba-Ekote-Ekpeni and Aba-Port Harcourt road continued deplorable states have led to economic stagnation of former boisterous commercial city of Aba.
The Abuja-Kaduna Federal Highway connects Nigeria from the north to the south, and it's an extremely important business road for supply of goods and services from the south to the north and vice versa.
Thank God that those who are saddled with the responsibility to provide security on that road are now doing a wonderful job.
Senate adopted the motion to investigate subsidy regime and under-recovery in the petroleum industry.
Uninvestigated and alarming cost of under-recovery / direct deductions of an NPCL without necessary checks has led to great misunderstanding of government's good intentions on subsidy removal.
Mr. President, sir, more worrisome is the fact that a significant percentage of the fund being used for this subsidy is borrowed. All along was borrowed. You don't borrow money, you don't borrow fund to subsidize.
We are subsidizing neighboring countries to the detriment of Nigerian citizens, our constituents.
I don't know how that vocabulary of turnaround maintenance started, because that is where our problem started. Because if you look at the quantum of money involved in this, I believe we need a very detailed investigation as to what has transpired during the subsidy regime.
The Senate has, in the course of the debate, commended Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the decision to even remove this subsidy.
The investigation will be conducted when standing committees are fully constituted. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
On Plateau killings, President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness and grief over the latest round of violence and killings in Plateau State. The president condemned in strong terms the most recent killings in Mango local government area of Plateau State and parts of Benue State. President Tinubu found very depressing and festering reprisal attacks, needless and avoidable bloodletting among communities in the 2 states. It is utmost unfortunate that in this violence, an innocent 8-month-old baby in Farin Lamba community of Wang District, Jos South local government died in a conflict she knew nothing about. A major consequence of perennial conflict is always the tragic loss of innocent lives. To build viral, peaceful and prosperous communities demand tolerance and forgiveness for every perceived wrongdoing. The president said to rebuild trust and restore harmony to these conflict areas, President Tinubu urged community leaders, religious leaders, traditional rulers, socio-cultural organizations, as well as the leadership of the Ariwa Consultative Forum, Jamaatul Nasir Islam, and Christian Association of Nigeria to work together to help foster genuine and long-lasting peace. While reaffirming his government's strong determination to stamp out violent crimes and all forms of criminalities everywhere in Nigeria, the president has directed security agencies to fish out the masterminds of the dastardly act to face the full wrath of the law. He, however, charged the government of Plateau and Benue states and emergency response agencies to provide support and immediate relief to victims who have been displaced as a result of the conflict. And on flood and security, the federal government has set up proactive measures in areas predicted to be affected by flood this rainy season. chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, who is also the Gombe State Governor, Muhammad Inuwa Yahya, cited this after an audience with Vice President Kashim Shettima. Governor Inuwa Yahya said government is aware of the flash highlighted by agencies responsible and has engaged all stakeholders to share ideas on how to tackle the expected disaster.
And for that, we are strategizing. We wouldn't like a repeat of what happened last year to do the same this year. But in whatever we do, we have to be both proactive and reactive. We've not reacted in a way that we solved all the problems of last year, and this year has started. So we need to double, we do some little backtracking and move in double locks to catch up with the current trends and do the needful.
State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that Governor Inuwa Yahya also spoke on the issue of security, especially in another part of the country.
Our people are peasant farmers, and farmers means those that are involved in crop production and livestock. So in between, because of the encroachment of our grazing reserves, issues have started to spring up, and those issues are those that catapulted to become, to result into rustling, banditry, and kidnap for ransom. So at the moment, we are focusing on doing that, maintaining the peace by providing for each and everybody and each and every sector in a way that we understand and cooperate with one another.
And on economic transformation, Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria requires the cooperation of all citizens, irrespective of religious and ethnic differences, to support the Tinubu administration in transforming the country. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that the Vice President said this when he received the leadership of the 10th House of Representatives, led by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas at the presidential villa.
Actualization of the agenda of the Tinubu administration requires the support of all. These are the words of the Vice President Kashim Shettima while receiving leadership of the House. President Tinubu is determined to redefine the meaning and concept of modern leadership, as exemplified from the first day with swift moves to address economic growth and development. On President Tinubu's support for the legislature, the Vice President noted that the executive is ever willing to ensure harmonious working relationship among all arms of the government for the good of the nation. Extolling the leadership qualities of the new principal officers of the House of Representatives, the Vice President implored them to rally round the Speaker in the face of governance and form a common front in addressing the core challenges confronting the country.
In this particular project, we call it Unity Project. We do not look at ourselves as APC, PDP, LP. We look at ourselves as parliamentarians representing the Nigerian project. So we feel that at this point that we have elected our leadership for both the majority and the minority, we should all come together and pay homage to our VP, to see them, get to know them, so that we can prepare for the challenges ahead.
Speaker Tajuddin Abbas restated the members' support to government programs and policies, noting that they are ready to collaborate to work for the progress of the nation. From the State House, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to halt the implementation of its policy directing banks to obtain the social media handles of customers as part of enhanced customer due diligence (CDD) regulations. This followed a joint motion moved by Minority Leader of the House of Representatives Kiksi Chinda. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikben reports.
To inspire and guide all our House commenced plenary with a 2-hour closed-door session, followed by an announcement by the Speaker on the screening of service chiefs.
And I have the pleasure of informing you that Honorable Jimmy Benson will chair the ad hoc committee, and all principal officers, both from the majority and minority, will be members of that committee.
There were reservations about the CBN Know Your Customer policy.
Nigerians who are not on social media with large turnovers from their businesses and trades would be compared to or systematically excluded from formal banking system with its attendant negative effect.
The need to halt the Central Bank of Nigeria's directive.
The Green Chamber equally moves against planned increase of tuition fees by some federal universities.
An increased rate of university dropout may further worsen insecurity in Nigeria.
To urge the Federal Minister of Education to review the new school fees regime in federal government colleges and revert to the old regime.
There were also motions condemning fresh attacks on the plateau.
Most of my people live in fear of the unknown.
Urge the Inspector General of Police to immediately provide mobile police force squadron formation in the affected communities to safeguard the lives of our people.
If the Office of the National Security Advisor comes into this, there will be a difference.
And other resolutions to bridge infrastructure gaps.
The need to rehabilitate the Benin-Ekoma-Auchi road to Okede, Ogi State.
To ensure the contractor is mobilized to site and commences reconstruction of the Eleme-One axis of the East-West Road.
To urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to resume the immediate rehabilitation of the Obudu Dam project and provide funds to relevant financial authorities.
22 bills passed first reading at Tuesday's plenary, including the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2023. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
You're watching the network news. Still ahead, Borno State Governor partners Malala Foundation to promote girl child education. Many thanks for being there. And now to political party matters. The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has promised to cooperate with the federal government on issues concerning the welfare of Nigerians and good governance, while striving to maintain the independence and autonomy of the forum through offering constructive criticism where necessary. These formed part of the reconstituted forum's inaugural meeting in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
12 out of the 13 governors elected on the platform of the PDP attended the inaugural forum's meeting under the leadership of Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. Deputy Chairman of the forum and Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara was absent at the meeting. At the end of the meeting held behind closed doors, the meeting resolved to work together and unite the forum, which aims to provide a platform for peer review issues, policies, programs, and achievements of members across the PDP states.
The meeting advised the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the security agencies, the federal government to be neutral in the conduct of the off-season elections in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo states.
On security situation in the country, especially what the forum described as wanton destruction of lives and property in Plateau and Zamfara states, the meeting advised the federal government and security agencies to rise to the occasion. On disagreements within the PDP, the forum believes that reconciliation is a work in progress and hopes to reconcile all aggrieved members soon. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has urged political party leaders at all levels to partner with the federal government to ensure dividends of democracy are delivered to Nigerians, especially those in the grassroots. The SGF was speaking when he played host to APC State Chairman, who paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. Kenneth Nanim reports that while appreciating the visit, the SGF acknowledged their role as individuals and groups towards the success of President Tinubu and the APC during the 2023 general elections. He further explained that the federal government is doing everything possible to address insecurity and other forms of criminality in parts of the country, while expressing sadness over the kidnap of the Ekiti state counterpart.
Reunited with his family. Some of these criminal activities are going down now. And this will be brought to the barest minimum in due course. Nigerians had confidence in the candidates and They have never been disappointed since the inauguration of this administration.
Earlier, the APC chairman thanked the SGF for providing an exemplary leadership and reaffirmed the confidence reposed in him to deliver good governance. They also urged him to ensure equitable distribution of political appointments when the time comes. And on girl-child education, Borno State government has assured to partner with Malala Foundation to promote girl-child education in the state. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum gave the assurance when he received the globally renowned girl-child education activist and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai, accompanied by the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed on a courtesy visit at the Government House, Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
Malala Yousafzai was the girl shot in a bus by some suspected extremists while returning from school in 2012 in Pakistan, which shook the global community. And since then, Malala turned girl-child education activists, traversing the globe to promote girl-child education. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum, who highlighted contributions of the activists to the education sector in Borno State through her foundation, thanked her for supporting the cause of girl-child education. He also paid tribute to Mr. Yousafzai, who not only stood firm to ensure that his daughter went to school against all odds, but giving her all the needed support to realize her potentials.
On behalf of the government and people of Borno State, we remain eternally indebted to the Deputy UN Secretary General for her continued support in our educational sector. I also want to convey my deep appreciation to Malala Yousaf and indeed your amiable father.
We're here, Your Excellency, because this is a place that Malala started her efforts in Nigeria to call for girls' education, the safety of their education, the right to their education, the progress in their future so that they also join the people of their state, their communities and Nigeria to be part of that economy and growing this nation.
The girl child activist noted that her visit was to celebrate 10th year anniversary of her speech at the United Nations and her 26th birthday, adding that every year she uses the opportunity to draw attention of the world to hundreds of girls with no access to education.
It is a collective work of people, of the government, of the civil society, of education activists, parents and girls that can make change happen.
Malala also noted huge progress made in the education sector in Nigeria that call for celebration, which can also be built upon. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
To health matters, the people of Tula community of Kaltungo local government area of Gombe State are lucky to receive one of the world-class health facilities by the Jennifer Etu Foundation. The foundation is constructing the medical centers in 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria to fulfill the dream of Jennifer Ramatu Thomas Etu of helping cancer patients in Nigeria. Emmanuel Akila reports that Governor Muhammadu Noah Yahya, who inaugurates the health center facility, appreciates the foundation for the life-touching investment.
Preachers speak of the kind-heartedness of Jennifer Ramatu Etu in the service of thanksgiving that precedes inauguration of the Jennifer Etu Medical Center, Tula.
This project is a demonstration of the unconditional love of a committed husband to his late wife.
A friend in need. Governor Muhammad Ino Yahya and Thomas Etu share a common vision of touching lives positively from their childhood relationship in Gombe.
When that opportunity came, I cashed on it and worked with him as a brother to ensure that the project is successfully completed. And that is what we have been doing elsewhere. We shall continue to do so.
All she lived for is to touch life. And she doesn't want what she's doing to die with her. All what she has, she put it into the foundation. And as a husband, I also support wherever I can, since I've committed to keep the promise. So I'm keeping the promise.
For 5 days, people from across Gombe State with various health conditions converge on Tula to have access to free medical care
courtesy of the Jennifer A2 Foundation. And this is a litmus test of what they expect of the Jennifer A2 Medical Center.
This is a great feat, not just to Tula or Gombe State, but to the northeastern part of the country, because this hospital boasts of so many facilities that are just found here. So I believe it is a great gift to the region.
The Jennifer A2 Foundation is born out of the desire of the late Jennifer Ramatu Thomas A2 to provide health care and empower the vulnerable segments of the society. Tula community takes the 4th slot of the 6 Jennifer A2 Foundation health facilities across the country to help cancer patients in particular and patients of other life-threatening diseases, besides humanitarian gestures to millions of Nigerians. The Jennifer A2 Medical Center Tula is established in commemoration of the 49th posthumous birthday of Jennifer Ramatu Thomas A2. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akira, NTA News.
And away from health matters, the oil and gas industry will continue to seek the right balance between meeting the world's rising energy needs and addressing climate change. These highlight some of OPEC Secretary General Haitham Al-Ghazi's message to the ongoing Nigeria Oil and Gas Energy Week. Lydia Sampson reports that it resonates with experts who insist that Nigeria must come up with solutions that will translate to moving Nigeria and the African continent from energy poverty to energy sufficiency. Her report.
Let's agree the oil and gas industry has a long history of being at the cutting edge of innovation and technology, and OPEC Secretary General says the possibility of bringing the same expertise to support developing cleaner and more efficient technological solutions to help unlock an emission-free future is now.
As we look ahead, OPEC will continue to rely on Nigeria's crucial support and cooperation as His Excellency President Tinubu takes the country forward to help meet the needs of Nigerians now and in the future.
The key players reiterate the need for candid conversation to identify realities and numbers on where Nigeria is standing on specifics and on energy mix as pathway towards sustainable energy security for growth.
For us to achieve a sustainable energy transition, funding is key, technology is key, acquisitions and transfers, cooperation is key, and so Africa needs to define its own terms.
Our people are undersupplied. Affordability is not even a key issue, because if you increase supply, naturally affordability becomes a secondary issue. And of course, they need sustainable energy. And we hear all the talk around green energy. Absolutely, we are committed to it.
The experts are emphatic that eradicating energy poverty and its implications must be prioritized. These, they opine, can be done leveraging natural gas, which is the largest growing fossil fuel globally. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And on zero-emission transportation, the federal government is assuring electric vehicle EV producers in the country of its support through policies and technical intervention towards achieving zero-emission transportation for enhanced marketability in Nigeria and beyond. The Director General, National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, Jelani Aliu, gave the assurance at the presentation of a new jet mover electric vehicle in Abuja. Tokpe Alabi reports.
Nigeria is one of the 195 signatories to the 2015 Paris Accord, meant to develop the green automobile industry as a way of curbing global warming and its effects on the environment. The National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, is spearheading initiatives towards adhering to the accord with the presentation of this jet mover 100% electric vehicle EV bus as alternative to fuel-powered automobiles.
This is very vital, especially now where solutions are required. Very cost-effective, sustainable solutions are required for to ease the challenges because of the higher cost of petrol and diesel.
The Jet Mover 100% EV bus, produced by Jet Motors here with EV charger stations, which powers the electric van, is hailed as the future to environmentally conscious automobiles and is also cost-effective.
The EV has what I call motto,
not the engine, the type of engine we have in the ICE that have hundreds of spare parts. This one don't have that. So you don't need to bother about plug, you don't need to bother about fuel filter.
This development from the automobile sector of the country will certainly spur a lot of Nigerians to want to take alternatives to vehicles using fuel to the ones using electric supply. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
Many thanks, Tokwe. And Benny Adams is standing by with trending stories from the world of business. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide, and welcome to Business. Issues of public finance management, harmonization of domestic taxes within the ECOWAS region, with particular emphasis on harmonization of Nigeria's value-added tax in compliance with ECOWAS directives, are on the table at the ongoing ECOWAS and FIRS forum supported by the European Union in Abuja.
VAT's contribution to total tax revenue has consistently remained low.
Introduction of the Finance Act every year have seen tremendous improvement in the VAT revenue specifically.
In line with our revised national tax policy, emphasis is on indirect taxes. And so VAT is very critical. So we need to harmonize our taxes with those of the region.
And meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has expressed readiness to begin harmonization of revenue collection in the FCT. The FCT Permanent Secretary says the decision is with a view to wooing local and foreign investors, in addition to ensuring ease of doing business in the FCT.
32 of the 36 states of the Federation have harmonized their revenue collection, and we cannot afford to remain a laggard and outcast. Hence, let me emphasize from the onset that all the revenues to be collected will go directly to the coffers of government to provide services for our people. The payment of revenues of government into private account is no longer in vogue.
The Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service Act entrusts us, the FCT IRS, with the duty to collaborate with relevant stakeholders and agencies in harmonizing and improving our tax practices. This is aimed at optimizing our revenue generation efforts while ensuring simplicity, transparency, and accountability in all our systems.
Now to markets. Nigeria's equities market continued its positive trend on Tuesday by 1.65% as investors gained 580 billion naira. A total of 844.7 million shares in 8,922 deals, corresponding to a market value of 9.4 billion naira, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 54% decline in volume, 57% decline in turnover, and 39% decline in deals. The current market's capitalization is 35.8 trillion naira. Chams recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by FCMB and Universal Insurance Company. Well, that is business news. Network news continues with Adiola in our Lagos network studio. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Benny. Thank you. Advancing gender equality to create a just, resilient and sustainable world has remained imperative in the development of any society. This is the thrust of this year's World Population Day as it focuses on addressing these issues and chart a way forward. Lynn Beneke reports.
Statistics has shown that Nigeria is the 6th most populated nation in the world, with an estimated 216 million people. Women and girls constitute 49.7% of this population. Quality formal education for women and girls, as well as acquiring life-changing skills, remains key for this significant population to contribute meaningfully to the nation's developmental goals. The theme, Unleashing the Power of Gender Equality, is apt as it seems to address the right of women and girls targeted at achieving the Sustainable Development Goals 5.
So there is need to give them equal rights. There is need to allow them to have access to all the basic infrastructure or social amenities. They should have equal access as their male counterpart to education, to health, and to housing. They need to, because that will sustain the population.
Holders are advocating total inclusion of women and girls in mainstreaming gender policies to empower women. This, they said, is imperative for national growth and development.
I want to enjoin women to keep on fostering for that equality. That is very essential. And believe you me, I mean, you can look at what we have in the Senate and whatnot. Basically, I mean, you can see that women are actually underrepresented. And even in other areas and aspects of leadership in the country.
Addressing these challenges is also key to reducing poverty and strengthening family planning. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Efforts to achieve 18% tax to GDP ratio over the next 3 years, experts say, may be attainable with a synergy between Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, MATAN. The collaboration, geared towards enhancing voluntary tax payment, has a target of incorporating over 40 million people in the non-formal sector into the tax net. Joel Popola has the report.
Focus to non-oil sector is what the federal government is putting in the front burner in this new dispensation. The VAT Direct initiative is one way the Federal Inland Revenue Service is thinking outside the box for more revenue to sustain governance and provide the much-needed social amenities that will engender rapid development. The initiative, which will eliminate multiple taxation, is expected to boost confidence in the tax system for more Nigerians to willingly pay tax. The tax policy takes into cognizance the economic realities by exempting businesses with a turnover of less than 25 million naira. FIRS Chairman Mohammed Nami explains the significance and benefits of the VAT Direct initiative.
Our in-house developed software called Tax Pro Max is going to have direct interface with the technology to be deployed for purpose of enumeration, for purpose of payment of the VAT, and for purpose of reporting the VAT to be collected on a daily basis. It means that government going forward is going to have enough resources.
The leadership of the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, an umbrella body for traders, describes the partnership with FIRS as an initiative that will foster economic development.
They say that if it's either you pay by monthly or by weekly, and the tax is very, very low. It's very low tariff, so we can't pay much like expected before.
Who will pay tax if they see the value of what they are paying tax for, if the amenities are there?
The VAT Direct initiative is technology-driven and guarantees each free tax payment. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And those are the stories making the rounds in Lagos at this time. Do not forget to follow.
Glad to know you're still there. And on insecurity, Southeast governors, lawmakers and leaders of the Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohaneze Indigo, have resolved to meet President Bola Tinubu over the rising insecurity in the region. This decision was taken at an emergency meeting held in Abuja. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The meeting, which was held behind closed doors, lasted about 6 hours. It was to deliberate on the current security situation in the region. Leaders across political parties are concerned about the rising insecurity due to the activities of unknown gunmen and agitators of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB.
A lot of success has been achieved. Otherwise, the plan that was made was very enormous, it's big. But because of the effort by the governors, because of the effort by the leaders, I think the whole thing will succeed.
Security is in the exclusive list, and only federal government can deploy as appropriate. So there are some of the details that when we meet with the president, we will discuss. We also understand the political connotations arising from public perception that have characterized the case. But we will divorce politics from the matter and ensure that the issue of security, which is the primary purpose of government, is provided to the people of Southeast.
The meeting also agreed that Southeast alone cannot solve the current security challenges in the zone and pledged to promote dialogue among all concerned. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And as another break beckons, First Lady roots for Asisat Oshuala and a nomination for 2023 Ballon d'Or. Details shortly. Many thanks for being there. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has congratulated Asisat Oshuala, the Nigerian forward and Barcelona feminist